I guess about your songwriting, like we've been alluding to, is like you do have this kind of brutal honesty to your lyrics and to how you express yourself. And I guess,
Yeah.
has it always been your songwriting style? Did you have to like evolve to that point? And then like also, who are some of like your biggest influences coming up? That because there are a lot of like, I think of like Fiona Apple, who's like very open about
Right.
everything she has in her songwriting, and somebody like that who also delivers the pop side of things. So like, are those type of artists, have been influences onto kind of your music now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, songwriting started when I was little as like a safe, because I started journaling when I was really young, because I had a traumatic childhood. And so things at home were always really chaotic. And so writing things down was a way to me, like I could safely express what was going on and I couldn't get in trouble for my feelings. And then when I learned that I could put that to music, to piano, I was like, oh my gosh, I can write songs like this. And growing up, a couple staples in our house were DiFranco, and her songwriting was unbelievable because first of all, she doesn't really care about like verse, second verse, pre-chorus, chorus, right? She gets on the guitar and she just writes a song about whatever's going on. And it was so beautiful, like it was so brutal, but it was so beautiful in the same way. And then Chris Isaac, the way that, and he did a better job of like, not, I don't want to say better, but he was going more mainstream than DiFranco was. And so in the way that he created his songs, they were still very honest, but you got the consistency of like verse, second verse, bridge, pre-chorus, and kind of that notion of it. And those, I mean, I used to listen to DiFranco like on repeat. Like that was just the way. And I could never play guitar like her, even in my my wildest dreams, it could never happen. But her like the way she writes her lyrics, I'm just so inspired by it because she puts everything on the table. And after you listen to an album of hers, you feel like you actually know her because it's all based in some truth.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, songwriting, especially just pulling from your own life. So that's one thing. It seems a lot of your work is like very personal and like, I guess inspired by your own life,
Yeah.
Is that like hard to, just do, like, cause at first you said like it is journaling and stuff. So then when you transition from like writing to, the audio element or a video or something, now you're sharing and collaborating. Whereas before you're kind of isolated by yourself,
Right.
Was that sort of something you had to get used to when you came sort of getting into music again?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had to get used to the fact that there was like a structure and there was a way in which, and this is like the ego of every artist, there's a way in which someone can help you make it better, right? Even though your thoughts are your thoughts and they're valid and all these things, that's why you have a team. And there's a way in which that you can give them all of your thoughts and be like, this is what the song's about. Here's what I've written about. Now let's turn it into something that people want to listen to, right? Because as a songwriter, you also need the engineer and you need the producer because that's their talent, right? That's their way of saying, great, you have the bones of this song that are incredible. Now let's all get in here and let's make the finished package, So it's definitely, it's an ego thing that you have to get rid of because you have to know that they're not saying that your lyrics aren't great and that your songwriting isn't incredible, but you need to collaborate with other people to make it the best that it can be, And I think that as an artist, I've seen it happen with other artists that's kind of their ego just gets them to stop because they won't allow their music to grow in that way.
Right.
Well, that's kind of like the fine balance as being like a musician, right? Is finding that being true to yourself, but then also having to create music that can reach kind of a wider audience. Because you can create the greatest song ever, but if nobody listens to it, I mean,
then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You still want people to actually listen to what you made, so everybody still has that ego part of them. So you do have to kind of give up a little bit of yourself to invite other people in. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened with I Grew Up in LA. And this whole EP that I'm putting together I was very like, the music I was making before is like, I don't need anybody else. This is my truth, like blah, 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 blah. And everyone being like, Dani, like, I know because I'm a very private person, right? Like when I'm in the studio, it's just me and my audio engineer and like my producer. Like I don't have friends come in. No one comes and visits. It's like a very one-on-one intimate space, you know? And because of my life and the things that I have gone through, as you can hear in the song, I also have trust issues. So like allowing new people to come into my creative process was really hard for me. And so being able to find someone that I trusted and who made me feel comfortable to go further and create this new EP that's coming out has been such an incredible journey. And seeing that like not all people want to turn me into some pop star that's going to sing about nothing that matters, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's my biggest fear is not being true to myself.